Delusion.
Basically, don't mess with me.
Entitlement.
I don't know who I am.
Two traits that continue to thrive in the digital age. As social media fame continues to shape our perceptions, these characteristics find fertile ground among the young. And no one embodies these traits quite like Wyatt Yeager, also known as Icy Wyatt. Meet Wyatt Yeager, known to millions as Icy Wyatt on TikTok. His pink-clad persona, long nails, and unique fashion sense have captivated 1.4 million followers. But behind the glittering facade lies a darker story of manipulation and deception. Icy Wyatt was originally arrested in March 2022 after a confrontation involving erratic driving, threats, and a gun. Recently, body cam footage from that incident resurfaced, revealing a disturbing reality. Wyatt's actions, violent, entitled, and delusional, paint a stark picture of the dangers lurking behind the screen. In this video, we delve into the truth behind the TikTok sensation. We'll separate fact from fiction, debunking the lies that have fueled his rise. Who is Icy Wyatt? Wyatt Yeager was born on the 4th of July 1998 in Torrance, California, to Billy and Laura Bracado. There is nothing much about Icy Wyatt's early childhood. After Laura and Billy separated, Laura remarried Noah Bishop in 2002 when Wyatt was 3 years old. During the marriage, Laura and Noah had two sons together named Malcolm and Gavin. Born in the heart of Silicon Valley, his journey began innocuously enough, a teenager with a smartphone and a penchant for self-expression. He claims he worked at a McDonald's and a vape shop before the pandemic hit. Since he was already big on Snapchat and Instagram, and he got less hours at the shop, he decided to get into TikTok, the digital stage where trends are born, memes thrive, and fame is just a dance away. He claims to have studied the internet for 8 years, especially how to go viral, and controversy, or speaking his mind as he put it, seemed to gain a lot of attention. Using years of watching reality TV shows since childhood as inspiration, Icy Wyatt knew exactly the type of content he would upload to TikTok. Icy Wyatt's signature persona was a feminine male who was not gay. Long nails and a zesty voice became synonymous with Icy Wyatt. His androgynous style challenged norms, sparking debates about gender expression and identity. Armed with charisma, a flair for the dramatic, and a wardrobe that defied convention, he carved out a niche, and the internet could not look away. He made his TikTok debut in March 2020 and quickly gained a large following, with his first account, Icy Wyatt, reaching over 600,000 followers before being banned. He would post about his everyday life, including what his favorite shoes were, what he had been doing with his loved ones and his pets, and where he'd been on holiday. He also regularly posted videos where he invites his followers to come eat with me. These videos showed Icy unveiling takeaway food he had just ordered from fast food chains such as McDonald's and Subway, and then rating it as he ate it. He was also known for enthusiastically tapping the paper bags which contained his food before he opened them.
Hey y'all, do you want to eat with me?
His second account, Icy Wyatt, with a lowercase I and an extra T at the end, hit 290,000 followers before being removed. One of his earliest performances is set to hip-hop producer Metro Boomin's Space Cadet. He ordered Chick-fil-A in a viral TikTok viewed more than 750,000 times. One of his most popular videos featured him showing off his nails and received over 15 million views before the account it was on was deleted.
So I just pulled back my bed and I'm thinking, oh, like I broke a nail, right? Because it's right here. So I'm like, okay, I'm checking. Where's the broken nail? Did something just glitch?
He had another TikTok account called Icy Kid YW that reached over 1 million followers before it was banned. His impact has also resonated with celebrities, with Iggy Azalea mentioning him in live streams and referring to him as iconic. He then created his current TikTok account, which has over 1.4 million followers and 47.2 million likes. His videos often included lip-sync performances and lifestyle content that helped him build his initial popularity on the platform. One of the videos that shot him to popularity was him showing fake cash, talking about if he had a girlfriend. The video has 8.5 million views and 1.2 million likes.
If I had a girlfriend, hair, nails, car note, new bag, because I want to take care of my girl. I'll be so proud to have a girlfriend and I want to be obsessed with her.
The follow-up video, nearly a year later, shows him with his girlfriend, Maizeng Usher, also known as More Maizeng, giving her cash to spoil herself. This video had 9 million views and 1.2 million likes.
Since I got a girlfriend, hair,
yeah,
nails,
yeah,
car note.
yes sir,
What's this for? Shopping?
shopping,
Okay. And baby, I might just have to save this, for all the food expenses.
Wait, just choose makeup. Love you.
Okay. I love you too, baby. Ooh, wait.
Most comments under both videos mostly expressed confusion. Confusion over his sexuality, confusion over the use of prop money, etc. Majority of his videos that went viral are the ones that he is addressing his feminine persona.
No, I said girlfriend. I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand that you can look a little bit feminine, have your nails done, and still like girls.
Wyatt's mother, a Netflix executive and owner of multiple rental properties, seemed an unlikely match for her eccentric son, yet she supported his digital escapades, perhaps blinded by the allure of fame. Laura Brocado, or as known on TikTok as Icy Mom, made appearances on Icy Wyatt's content on TikTok. Their relationship oscillated between pride and concern, a dance of conflicting emotions. There was some back and forth between Icy Wyatt and his mother, with her supporting him at times and then criticizing him at other times. There were several videos of them arguing publicly on the internet through TikTok videos. Both Icy Wyatt and his mother display traits commonly associated with cluster B personality disorders: manipulative, dishonest, and attention-seeking. Considering she raised Icy Wyatt herself, it's no surprise that he exhibits similar traits. She created a TikTok account as Icy Wyatt's mom and aired out her son's business online. A normal parent wouldn't do this regardless of their child's actions. This immature and conniving behavior seems to be a cry for attention. Icy has spoken about her manipulative mistreatment in the past, which seems to align with her current actions. This behavior is almost a form of covert narcissism, and her actions fit most of the symptoms, which include inconsistent public and private life, blaming and shaming, highly sensitive to criticism, self-serving empathy, and creating confusion. She only gets upset when his behavior affects her. Before the girlfriend came, she was all for his shenanigans because she benefited. But when his money and the money made from scams started towards more, she began blasting him. And now that he's in jail, she denounces it all. She upheld his racist stances, she had the bingo link in her bio and pushed it. She rides his coattails. All she does is excuse his behavior, up until the point he cuts her off. In one video, Icy Wyatt's mom boasted about him buying her a Mercedes because he loves her so much. However, she later claimed she was just holding the car for him. This contradictory story shows that both of them are willing to lie for attention.
That way, if he ever needed his car one day, he would have it. I paid the $1,000 for it to be shipped, and a total of $41,5480 in payments, bringing it to over $5,000 I spent on a car to which he put I could never myself afford because I am a loser.
Their fake personas and desperate attempts for fame are truly appalling. In an interview on Let's Get Into It, Icy Wyatt claimed that he was abused by his stepfather for 12 years and that his mother did nothing about it.
So my stepdad would put me through all these horrible punishments. I would have to do gnarly exercise punishments, sitting on a wall for 3 hours.
In a TikTok post, Icy Wyatt's mother came out and spoke about his manipulation tactics, suggesting there may have been issues in their relationship. However, the video has since been taken down, but other viral clips mostly revolving around his son are still on her page. The relationship between Icy Wyatt and his mom serves as a cautionary tale about the toxic dynamics that can arise from such behaviors. Icy Wyatt's stepfather, Noah Bishop, whom Icy had accused of abusing him for 12 years, came out on Reddit, claiming that Wyatt was weaponizing lies. He addressed several issues. Wyatt actively avoids taking responsibility for his choices, as well as their ensuing consequences. I have always believed in natural consequences. Like as a small child, Wyatt once repeatedly said that he hated black people. The natural consequence to me was to show him what it was like to be judged based on the way he looks, so I dressed him up in the most ridiculous-looking outfit I could muster and made him go out in public. But as Wyatt got older, he resisted consequences more and more, avoiding responsibility for the choices he made. So yes, over time a separation between he and I developed as I focused on my 2 sons who would listen to me, and who would be accountable for their choices and actions. I made it clear that every relationship has good and bad, or with a parent, consequences and rewards. Wyatt made it clear that he felt he was entitled to the rewards and exempt from the consequences, so I recused myself from the situation. This could be viewed as a form of abuse, but I genuinely tried to get Wyatt to meet me in the middle as a child, and he steadfastly refused. Did I make him do yard work? Yes. Did he get grounded? Yes. Did he deserve it? F yes. Last, it's funny he says I abused him for 12 years because I lived with him for less than 9. And the final straw was when he got caught ditching school one day and he did the best to beat the crap out of his mom. Contrary to the one-sided interview he presented online, those close to him have witnessed a pattern of deceptive behavior, and the public was starting to understand how deceptive and manipulative Wyatt could be. From exaggerating accomplishments to fabricating stories, Wyatt's online persona was crumbling as more people looked into his past and questioned his character. Let's start when things started going south for Icy. Icy Wyatt was arrested on March 28, 2022 for assault charges with a firearm and assault on police. For nearly 4 months before EWU Bodycam released the actual footage of his arrest, we can see how Icy Wyatt tried to manipulate the public into thinking that he was the victim in the entire situation. On June 16, 2023, EWU Bodycam uploaded a video titled "TikTok Stars Convinced That Laws Don't Apply to Him." It was the bodycam footage for police arresting Icy Wyatt, and his delusions and entitlement were laid bare for all to see. According to a witness, the whole incident started when, in a case of road rage, Icy Wyatt got out of his vehicle and started hitting the window on a lady's car. Since he had stopped right in the middle of the road and was obstructing traffic, the victim approached him while still in his truck and told him to get back into his car. Wyatt told them he had a gun, and the victim drove off. Icy Wyatt then got back into his car, tailed them to a nearby Chick-fil-A parking lot, cut off the victim's truck, and threw a drink into the car. This prompted the victim and his friend to get out of their vehicle to confront Icy Wyatt. Icy Wyatt, who at this point was also out of his car, went back to his car after the argument escalated, retrieved his gun from the glove compartment, and pointed it at the two men. On seeing this, the victim decided to retreat to his car, and this is when Icy Wyatt pistol whipped him in the head. As soon as he pistol whipped the victim, Icy got into his car and fled the area, nearly hitting a woman with a stroller crossing the road. In the witness video, you can see the pink Mercedes speeding and overtaking a white pickup and then braking in front of the truck. At this point, witnesses on the scene had already called 911, and as police were talking to the victim and witnesses to understand what happened, Wyatt called 911 to report an emergency. From the video, you can tell how deceptive and manipulative Icy Wyatt can be, flat out lying that 4 men were threatening to beat him while there were only 2, that he only reached for his glove box when he actually pointed and hit the victim with it, and claiming that the victim cut him off when there is video footage showing otherwise. And he was only getting started. In his head, he believed nobody recorded him and he would be able to lie his way out of the problem. But he would quickly find out that he was in an echo chamber. And reality was about to hit him hard. Since Icy Wyatt had already fled the area, police obtained his phone number and asked him if they could meet. 30 minutes after this call, the police were able to find just as he was about to leave his house with a pink Mercedes that fit the description of statements they had collected earlier. Due to protocol and the fact that they already knew he was armed, the police approached in large numbers and with heavy-duty weaponry. To someone that just watches the video without context, it could appear as though they were using excessive amounts of people, and honestly, they kind of were. But in situations like this, it is police protocol to completely overwhelm a suspect to the point where they can visually realize that there is no point in attempting to flee or fight back. Wyatt didn't do himself any favors when he started talking, and this is where you can see that the guy is completely detached from reality. He kept saying, "Don't you guys know who I am?" As if everyone looks at TikTok all day. Then came the delusion and entitlement that had become part of his life. He requested police to read his Miranda rights, which wasn't necessary because they were detaining him, not interviewing or investigating him. He also lies that he was with his girlfriend and she's a witness. But Icy Wyatt was clearly alone in the car when he committed the assault. The police allowed him to call his girlfriend, who continued to feed him the notion that he did no wrong. By law, police are allowed to confiscate any personal items when a person is detained, and in my opinion, I think they allowed him to call his girlfriend because he said she was a witness. Since the girlfriend didn't share any useful information, the police reached out for Icy to hand out his phone, but he became rude. He also goes off on how he is famous and that his pink Mercedes always attracts negative attention, especially on freeways, which is why he had a gun. He says that there is no proof that he hit someone with a gun, which was a bold statement considering there are cameras nearly everywhere these days, and someone would definitely have recorded. Even while being detained, Icy Wyatt continued being a nuisance, kicking the police car door at one point. This was after police said they would tow his car because he wasn't willing to hand over the keys. As he's being driven to jail, we can fully see the echo chamber I was talking about earlier. He believes he is so famous that the victim he assaulted earlier was a fan of his. The truth is, nobody knows him beyond his niche and only garnered interest after his arrest. High on Xanax, Icy started abusing and threatening the officer who was driving to jail, all because he thought she said she would tase him. Since he was claiming he was a big internet personality and was wearing all types of jewelry, the police decide to stop at the evidence locker where he can place his items for safekeeping. This was a gesture of good faith from the police because they wanted to keep his items safe because someone else would be handling them while in jail and something bad could happen. But true to his character, Icy's ego could not allow him to see what was happening. He starts getting agitated once police tell him they have video proof of him cutting off the victim, and they also talk to the victim who had a bump on his head. Delusional as always, Icy requests to see the video as he tries to convince the police that he was the victim. Tired of his antics, the police tell him he could either leave his jewelry at the evidence locker or go with it to jail. His entitlement kicks in, and he tells the police that he can't allow them to take $30,000 to $40,000 worth of jewelry without him knowing exactly where they are taking it. Despite police explaining to him that his items would be safe and there was even a receipt, Icy Wyatt started antagonizing the police. The police antagonized him back, calling him Tiger King and told him not to move his arms. Seemingly high, tells the officer to shut up and flips him off. The officer saw this as a sign of resisting arrest and went to help the female officer who is handcuffing Icy. As he is being helped to the back of the police car, Icy kicks an officer as they are closing the door and would also proceed to kick the cage bars in the police car. He was taken to BSO jail, where he was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, 1 count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, 1 count of battery on an officer, and 1 count of resisting arrest. He had a court hearing the next day and was bonded out. Even after being released on bond, Icy still thought the charges were a small thing and he would only serve a small time in jail and all he'll be doing is working out and having a good time. He was also on live trying to convince himself he would be okay in jail. As soon as he was released, Icy Wyatt took to social media to manipulate the story to look like he was a victim. Knowing that nothing can stay hidden from the internet for long, he posted a video on TikTok with a caption, "We will speak on it when we legally can." The video was uploaded on the 30th of March 2022 and generated nearly 900,000 views the day it was uploaded, and is currently one of his most viral videos with 1.4 million views. He also uploaded another video that day with the caption, "Let me talk to my attorney first, but if y'all interested, let me know," where he continued painting himself as the victim of police brutality. Since everything at that point was just a rumor, Icy Wyatt took to Twitter to explain his story. Sunrise County Police in Broward County ambushed me in my neighborhood hours after I'd called for help in a road rage incident earlier in the day. They didn't send anyone to help me, but came to my house hours later and held me at gunpoint. This is not okay. Posting more footage. The tweet was uploaded some minutes to 9 a.m. in the morning, but didn't receive much engagement. He followed the tweet with another one just minutes later looking for sympathy, which he got based on the comments under the tweet. "I'm gonna get some rest and try and recover. My face is in so much pain and the rest of my body. Hope everyone has a blessed night. Love you all." Almost an hour and a half later, TMZ tweeted a link to an article explaining what actually happened based on court documents they had acquired. Based on the comments under the tweet, most people didn't know who Icy Wyatt was, and the rest were memes comparing him to the Tiger King. This goes to show how nobody knew him outside of his very niche TikTok platform. Even engagements under his tweets were so low for someone who claimed to have 58 million followers on TikTok. Despite the court documents being made public, Icy Wyatt was still trying to maintain that he was the victim in all this drama. He addressed the TMZ article on both his TikTok and Twitter account. This was on the 3rd of April 2022, just a few days after TMZ released his charges. Since the documents mainly focused on the charges, he was convinced his audience will believe his delusions, and continued feeding them his victimization story. Things seemed to cool off and Icy Wyatt went back to his usual self, offending people and heavily promoting his OnlyFans on Twitter, trying to capitalize on the new gained popularity. As the new year, 2023, set in, Icy thought he could get away with lying to the public, but based on his tweets from earlier in January, showed that it would be a controversial year. A TikToker of his size and personality will always have people looking for ways to bring him down, and for the case of Icy, they didn't have to dig far. There was a video released of him being racist, which he addressed on Twitter. Based on his Twitter page, the backlash was so bad that he deleted all his tweets that would be considered racist. But for someone whose personality was built on expressing his opinions irregardless, more videos came out showing him to be racist, transphobic, and emotionally abusive. All this was happening in January, and by the time EWU Bodycam released the police bodycam footage of his arrest on June 16, 2023, his reputation was already on edge. The cat was finally out of the bag, and everyone could see him for what he was, an egotistical, manipulative liar who only cared about himself. To try and control the damage his image was taking, he went to TikTok on the same day and uploaded a video claiming he had the video EWU posted and wanted to post it, but EWU beat him to it without his permission. Based on his reaction, you can tell he hadn't watched the video and was only interested in the views it had generated and the comments under the video. I guess he finally watched the video and understood the magnitude of how much trouble he was in. Almost a week later, Let's Get Into It released a video where Icy Wyatt responded to his arrest as well as other issues in his life at the time. 2 days later, Riva premiered a video of Icy Wyatt talking about his arrest and getting engaged. He allegedly organized the interview with the paparazzi himself. Even with HD footage, Icy Wyatt figured he could still manipulate his way out of the situation, and with almost a week of planning his move, it was just the same deceptive Icy. He was still insisting the victim was his fan. He also twisted the "don't you know who I am" phrase to fit a narrative that he deemed would be acceptable to the public. He went further and claimed the reason he told police he had 58 million followers was because his head had been banged on the ground and he was under distress. Since it wasn't getting the views he was hoping for, Icy shared clips to his video garnering over 590,000 views. The podcast and interview after his arrest became public serves as a great place to learn how deceptive Wyatt Yeager and the extent he would go to sanitize himself. But there are a few more instances where he was called out for his lies. Icy Wyatt claimed he bailed out Nikita Dragun, making 4 to 6 videos about it. However, it was soon discovered that Nikita was bailed out hours prior, and he had nothing to do with it. After being called out, he deleted all the videos, claiming Nikita's manager was rude to him. This was a clear attempt to gain clout and views by lying about paying her bail. In the Reddit AMA, his stepfather Noah posted also debunked most lies that Icy Wyatt was spreading online. One of the lies Noah addresses was how Icy lied that he was Jamaican. Regarding Wyatt's biological father Billy, Wyatt is not Jamaican and has never been to Jamaica. Wyatt is 100% white. When Laura left Billy, he still had a truck and all of his tools. I know this because he helped me with some electrical work in the summer of 2003. Shortly after that, Billy was drawn into his family's cycle of addiction with meth and became homeless. Wyatt used his father's homelessness and addiction as a way to generate sympathy, pity, and avoid consequences. He would play the "well, if I had a dad that loved me, I wouldn't have done it" card. He milked his dad's situation for every possible benefit he could. That's not to say it wasn't traumatic for him, just that he was very capable at turning lemons into lemonade. You can draw your own conclusions. When asked the question about racism in the Let's Get Into It podcast, he said his half-sister was black, which is why he also identified as black. What? You mean you were Jamaican because your half-sister from your biological white father has a Jamaican stepfather? Basically, Icy Wyatt was black by association. He also addressed the claims that Icy made on the Let's Get Into It podcast that he was addicted to heroin. Regarding my drug use, I am a recovering addict, but the nature of my addiction has been grossly overstated. I have never even seen heroin in real life. My DOC was opiate pain pills that I got from doctors. Shady doctors who overprescribed, but still I took prescribed pain pills. This began because I had bilateral knee injuries and my job requires me to stand for 14 to 18 hours a day. To be clear, I was still an addict, but I wasn't shooting heroin as Wyatt would like you to believe. Also, I had been clean for 12 years since around the time Wyatt was 13. He also talked about the relationship between him and his ex-wife Laura, Icy's mother. I want to address the statement Wyatt made about Laura and I hanging out. For Mother's Day, Laura asked to have her disassembled pool table assembled with new bumpers and felt. I played a lot of pool in my younger years and was happy to help the boys do this for their mom. The assertion that I was there for 2 weeks is absolute crap. Wyatt flew in on a Friday night, and the next day, the day before Mother's Day, I went over and with Malcolm and Gavin completed the pool table. Laura is my ex-wife, and since our divorce we have both remarried, and I am extremely grateful that since our divorce we have found the ability to co-parent successfully. But that's all it is. Derek, Laura's new husband, is a great, hardworking guy, and I am genuinely happy for them. While these are the more notable lies that have been debunked publicly, his TikTok videos are full of him just lying about everything, including his lavish lifestyle. People claim his jewelry and designer bags were fake, but he still presented a lifestyle that required real money, like always going out to eat, an expensive Mercedes SUV, costly apartment, maintaining pets, etc. To maintain his luxurious lifestyle, Icy Wyatt resorted to scamming his fans through an online bingo game. It's alleged that the game is a data harvesting platform, and Icy gets a share when people click the link and when a player makes a deposit. He openly admitted that he doesn't pay any taxes, which, according to his stepfather, means he had double income, which he could spend as he wished. He also had an influencer program where he charged $150 for a 1-hour session, and there was the OnlyFans channel, which generated some income. While all these income streams and TikTok videos present an image of someone who is earning a lot, it was not enough for him to afford the pink Mercedes. His mother released a video explaining that she was the one paying for the car and it was under her name. While all this was happening, Icy Wyatt's bond was revoked in July 2023, leading to him being re-arrested. He was presented before the Broward County Court, where the judge ruled that Yeager would remain in jail until his trial, because he had a warrant from another county, and once that is sorted, he could be bailed out. Allegedly, he committed a felony and moved across the country while on bond, which presented him as a flight risk. And since the justice system is so violently flawed, Wyatt could be waiting in jail for a long time, given that it's 2024 and the trial hasn't started yet. Earlier this year, he wrote a letter to his judge pleading the case. The delusion in the letter is pretty strong, claiming he was clean from drugs, He had a grandma with cancer that he was taking care of, a social media presence promoting love and kindness, giving eating disorder therapy, donating to charity, and Meals on Wheels. He was trying to lie his way into a trial, but it seems the judge saw through his lies because he hadn't changed at all. He had left the power of attorney to his wife, who was now controlling his TikTok and other ventures. There are reports that he is under protective custody in jail, which explains how IC is able to make over 1,800 phone calls, estimated to cost $12,000 before the rights were revoked. The rights could have been revoked because Moore would be live on TikTok while talking to IC on the phone, promoting their bingo game and begging people to give them galaxies. This is considered illegal since inmates are only allowed to talk with approved people, and by promoting his business, IC was conducting business while in jail, which was a charge by itself. No one really knows why the phone rights were revoked, but maybe they were discussing very critical things on the calls that were not on live. At the time of this recording, IC Wyatt is waiting for his downward departure court case in August 2024. But given IC Wyatt's drug abuse problems, it would be hard for him to complete the probation time without escaping serving time in prison. Drug abuse and the echo chamber that continues to boost his ego will be the root of his downfall once again if he doesn't change his ways in prison. Fortunately for him, the time spent while waiting for trial will be considered as time spent.